Alright, so it's time to talk about quarterfinals knockout rounds of the World Cup. Right now, I'm not going to talk about the scores because y'all already know it. So, the Shockers, Paraguay beating Germany on penalties. That was shocking. I did expect Sweden to score more. It was 3-0 to France, but it was a whooping. And I'll be honest, Sweden didn't deserve it like that, but they lost 5-1, so I guess. Canada won by last-minute golazo from that Portuguese kid. I think he came from Porto, and he's on loan to LAFC. He's incredible. That kid's really good. He's the midfielder. I think he's the captain as well. Golazo last minute, an absolute banger. And I didn't expect South Africa to go, but they did go through. And they got knocked out in the first round. And you know what? It is what it is. Marruecos beat Netherlands on penalties. I did expect them to win. I did not expect the penalties to go like this and have so many people missing them. Brazil's game, it was actually pretty good. It was very entertaining. I think that Japan dominated a lot more than Brazil when they had the ball. And of course they didn't have possession for most of the game, but when Japan was in possession, they played very well. And Japan, not only did I think they were going to win, but also they deserve to win, Brazil. To go this far in the World Cup, to play some incredible football, incredible games, they deserve to go through, honestly. But yeah, I call it unlucky. It is what it is. It was last minute by Martinelli. Anyone could have made it, anyone could have missed it. So it was luck. Norway 2-1. I did expect a bit more from Ivory Coast, but it is what it is. And fucking Holland, bro. Fucking Holland. It's incredible what this guy does. And right now, Mexico's playing Ecuador. It's 2-0, and it's the 35th minute, and what's his name again? The guy who's at Wolves right now, or who was bought by Wolves, Raul Jimenez. What I felt when he scored his the second one is like this guy had one of the greatest downfalls of his career because of his head injury. He was never the same after that. And then to come back, play for a couple years, and then score back at the World Cup when you still have that head injury and you have that thing wrapped around your head, and to score a second goal, I think is incredible for him. And you know what? Congratulations to the guy. He's an incredible player, and to go through those kind of injuries, no es como cualquiera. Congratulations to him. Semifinals right now at the moment. Mexico are going through. I think Congo put themselves together against England for the next round, so Congo could go through because that defense is not very easy to break through. So I think that Congo goes through against England. I think that Mexico's probably going through. They're already up by 2. But en el fútbol lo que sea pasa. Anything happens. Brazil and Norway are already through. Panama and France. Honestly, Panama can do it. No, not Panama. Paraguay. My bad. Paraguay will play France. And I think they can do it. I think they can hold their own. Do I think they'll go through? No. But what this World Cup has shown is that, or at least the knockouts, is that the teams that are most likely to go through, the rivals perform an upset. And that's been happening so far in the knockouts and in the group stages. So it will be interesting to see what happens in that game. People are going to sleep on it and say that France is going to go through by 9-0. I wouldn't say so, because these are the same guys who lost 4-1 to the US, and they just beat Germany in the first round of the knockouts. So I'll watch that one. It's on the 4th, right? What day is the 4th? Yeah, I'll watch it. It's on a Saturday. Canada and Morocco. There really is no predictions for knockouts because it goes either way, but I think that Canada can hold their own, but I don't think that they can survive Morocco's attack for 90 minutes. I just don't think they can. And it's with all due respect towards the Canadian team, because they've been great. They've been absolutely phenomenal, scoring 6 goals in one game. And across all games, I think they scored like 9 or 10. No, they scored... they scored around 10 goals. But I don't think that they can survive Morocco. Now, my dad and I were talking about this. Who do you think wins? An out-of-form Belgium or a Senegal that's not playing half bad? A Senegal that's not playing half bad. Because a bad, not informed Belgium will not perform well. So we think Senegal would go through. Bosnia have a fighting spirit that the US doesn't have, because the US got complacent against Turkey and Turkey ended up beating them. Turkey ended up beating the US from a last-minute goal. So they got too complacent when they were going into the last game against a team who lost all of their games and couldn't score 1 goal. So I don't think that the US goes through Bosnia, because Bosnia will fight their asses. They will fight the fucking US, and they have a fighting spirit. Again, like the US doesn't. So we think Bosnia goes through. We also think that Senegal would go through Bosnia, because Senegal also have a fighting spirit, which I think is greater than Bosnia's. So I think, and my dad thinks, that Senegal would go through the quarterfinals. For Croatia and Portugal, I have a Portugal video that I'm gonna make. It's gonna be called Light Switch. That's what the thumbnail is gonna say. It's gonna say Light Switch, because sometimes they're on and sometimes they're off, and they have a lot of problems internally too, I think. So as this moment, unless they pull an upset, a stunner, unless they're in form again, we believe that Croatia goes through. Because Croatia, if you've been watching them, they play together and they play as a team. And teamwork will always beat some guys who want to play for themselves. Right? So we think Croatia goes through. We think Spain goes through Austria. And we think Spain goes through Croatia. Unfortunately, which is probably true as well, I don't want Croatia to go out to Spain. And you know what? Spain have in a lot of good injured players. So, you know what? I'll say Croatia goes through Spain right now, because Spain have a lot of good players injured, and because Spain only won by 1 goal against an Uruguay who's been playing like shit for years, and under bad management for years, and with a bad atmosphere in the locker room for years. And 1-0 against a bad Uruguay is embarrassing. It's a complete embarrassment. So I think that a Senegal and Croatia quarterfinal is most likely to happen. because those two teams, Senegal has not been its best, but Belgium, they have a whole bunch of players who just aren't clicking, right? And Croatia have a lot of players who are clicking, and Portugal doesn't. And Croatia have a lot of good players that are working, and their starting defenders are not injured. So I think Senegal and Croatia would be what the quarterfinal would have for us. Now again, I think Morocco goes through, and for Paraguay and France, if I were to give you a guess, I would say that France goes through, but again, you know what? I think these Paraguayos have things that no one knows of, and I think that they have things that they have some trick in their sleeve or some card to pull an upset. And yes, France could go on to win another one because they look like they're gonna do that. But this Paraguay side, they've been phenomenal ever since losing 4-1. They've been in good form. They played Germany very well. They played a whole bunch of teams well, and they made it to the knockouts, and they just beat Germany on pens. Is it too much of an attack because they got to go up against France? Perhaps. But that goalkeeper they got, he's really, really good. And this guy anticipated some of those pens very, very well. He didn't die for them on time, but he did stop a couple of them that would have been game deciding. What the hell? They were about to get a third one, but I think it was Raul who just missed the header. Not sure though. I think it was. No, it wasn't. It was some other guy. He was this close, but it doesn't matter. They're still winning. So I would say Paraguay could tie France, but that one I'm absolutely not sure. What I do think would happen is this: on the other side, or at least at the bottom of the bracket, I think Croatia would go through Senegal and make it to the semifinal. And then the semifinal. I don't think that France or Paraguay would beat Morocco. So I would say that Morocco would play a semifinal against Croatia, and this is on the left side of the bracket. I think that's how things are going to go through. Now, Croatia and Morocco, I'll leave it like it is right now because we're still early in the knockout rounds. But for a semifinal, on the left side of the knockouts, I do think that Croatia would go up against Morocco. And on the right side, I think that Norway beats Brazil because they're in good form. Despite the fact that Brazil has a lot of good players, not all of them click. Just like the game against Morocco, they had a lot of chances and couldn't capitalize. Same goes to Morocco, but with the quality of players that Brazil had in front of the net, which was basically almost open on counterattacks, they still couldn't capitalize. So I'll give it to Norway that Norway advanced to the quarterfinal. I think Mexico beats either side that advances between England and Congo. So I think Norway and Mexico would be the quarterfinal on the right side. I think Australia beats Egypt because they have a park the bus. And a good counter, too. And this park the bus is insane because these players are like 6'5". These center backs, these wingers, these strikers, the guys who are on the 2-on-1s, they're like 6'5", and they're going to win every header. So I think that Australia does go through. And believe it or not, I'm not sure who goes through between Argentina and Cabo Verde, because Cabo Verde have this park the bus that is absolutely fucking crazy. And you know what? They did it against Spain and it worked. Is it gonna work like it worked against Argentina? I don't know. But they have a team that is working very well, like a unit, like a Barca, right? A very well-oiled machine who has all these parts working together and complementing each other very well. So I don't know, right? That Cabo Verde game is going to be interesting. I do think that Switzerland beats Algeria, and I think that Colombia beats Ghana, and I think Colombia beats Switzerland. So Colombia, I think, makes it to the quarterfinals. I think Cabo Verde or Argentina beat Australia. So Cabo Verde or Argentina would go against Colombia in the quarterfinal. For my prediction, Mexico would go to the quarterfinals, and I think they advanced past either team, so they would go to the semis. And I think that Colombia could get knocked out in the quarterfinals against either Argentina or Cabo Verde. I think they would beat Cabo Verde, but I don't think they would beat Argentina. But if they want to stop Diaz, they need to sacrifice a midfielder to make him go out wide, or they have to put down a striker or a winger, because Argentina right now are playing with a 4-4-2 with offensive balanced tactics. And if you go up against Luis Diaz, you need to set up differently, and you need to start different players in different positions and have a different strategy in mind for that game. So Colombia and Argentina will be an interesting game because Suarez is a good striker, and their other striker is also really good, and they have Munoz, which would also be very good offensively down the side. So for Colombia and Argentina, Argentina has been playing really good, but you cannot underestimate Colombia. And remember, the smaller teams that don't have names that are as big as the contenders are kicking ass, and they're making upsets. So I say I would give the hand to Colombia, because I never count out Colombia from a tournament, because they're really, really good. So I would say Colombia could go past Argentina, and I say that they do go past Cabo Verde. So I think they would be semi-finalists with Mexico as well. So my prediction up to the semi-final would be Morocco and Croatia on the left, and Mexico and Colombia on the right. As of this moment, if there are any upsets pulled, if there are any teams that click again and start working again, then I'll probably make another video talking about this. But yeah, that's it for now.